Is Google My Business on your radar at all as a national brand?
Used to be. Yeah, I used to do a lot of stuff in Google My Business. My first 15 years in the industry, I worked local. So yeah, so shoot away. Any questions? I can try. I haven't dealt with a lot of local for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess my biggest question is just so we run a brand that's in 22 cities now, I guess, and so we have the main locations here, and so that ranks on its own, and they're all individual websites. But then, is there value in treating that Google My Business, and then they all have their own Google My Business, right? Is there value in treating that singular Google My Business as a national brand, which we're sort of having to organically move to anyway with everything? So how do I'm a little confused about how I would handle that sort of transition.
So you have one right now, but you have.
They're all the same business, but they're in 22 cities.
So if you have a physical location in those cities, I'd have a Google
Right, and they all do.
listed.
Definitely.
Okay, good.
And so I guess the question is there value in making the singular one, the Raleigh, let's say, headquarters, right? Should I be including the other cities in the services and in locations?
Is it locally constrained? Can business go far away?
This one doesn't do Boston, doesn't do Houston, but it's the same brand. You call that phone number, you're going to get our corporate office.
Right.
And you can
They don't have unique phone numbers?
They all have unique phone numbers, but there's a phone tree as well on the main
keep
number.
it separate then if it's not.
Right, and so they are separate, absolutely. So I'm just wondering if there's value in having one for all of them as well, but maybe not.
I would usually probably keep the one optimized towards Raleigh, it's local. It's I've actually had to delete a lot of Google My Business listings for companies that were meant to be national, and we found that once that listing was gone, it tended to do better if it was going national. But if you are localized, then you'd want to keep that local. So it's hard. Depending on how your site is configured, there might be, especially if you guys are franchising or you're wanting to see everywhere. I don't know, that's a good question. It's one of those things that's really, really hard, and it really depends on the niche. Is there other competitors that are similar? What are they doing in this space?
Not a national brand.
Not a national.
What we're kind of excited about is that we're sort of the only ones doing that. So we'll see.
Well, you can always delete it, but I would almost, I don't know what
Keeping
would
it as
happen.
is probably
But you
safe.
still want to rank in Raleigh, so you want to
Right.
rank for people searching for that in Raleigh. So you could jeopardize that if you change that to be non-localized.
I think the biggest thing is okay, let's say there's a website in Raleigh, this URL. There's a website in Houston, this URL. We rank in Houston, great. We rank in Raleigh, great. Then I have a page on the main website for Houston? Do I also have, because I think you guys are probably well aware that if you put the products and services, you make a product in Google My Business. It's a fantastic way to rank locally, obviously. So then do I also do that for Houston on that main website? I don't know. That's the question that I'm sort of, I guess I could try it.
Right.
And
usually location specific, I think it works better if you do the localized pages. I rebelled against that for a really long time after because I felt like it was so hard to create unique content when you're talking about in Houston, especially companies I worked with a lot of home service companies, and so we'd want to rank for Spring and the Woodlands and Katy and Cypress, and how do you make that content unique? And so I hated it, and I stopped doing it with my clients, but all of our competitors were still doing it and ranking really, really well.
Right.
And it drove me nuts. So we kind of brought it back, but on a more really add value to those pages and create fully unique content that is specific to that city and location. But it's not always easy to do per niche. And I refuse to do it per service type. So I put my foot down, no, we're not doing plumbing, electrical, heating, HVAC, each city. That starts to get a bit insane. But we do cover all of that on one location page. But the main website, you could do one main Google My Business, but I probably wouldn't change your main one. But if you have a local number that you could use for the Raleigh, and then like a 1-800 number you could use for the main one, and try that to be like more national.